Alright, today we're going to work with the point template and we're going to add another entity to it so that we can spawn objects like sort of on the move, because our point template will spawn an object where the point template is at, or I guess where the prop is sitting at. So like with our vending machine, the soda would spawn right inside the vending machine, but we couldn't change the location of where the object spawned. So there's another entity we can add to the mix here that will allow us to dynamically change where the object spawns. And so what we're going to use it for today as an example is we're going to make this head crab, this little guy here. When he dies, he is going to drop some loot. So he's going to drop a box of these 357 Magnum cartridges here. And I have it set up so they're going to drop right behind him. And I'll show you kind of how it looks in the game, and then we'll go through the setup. So let's run the game real quick and kind of just see it. Alright, so I've got the crossbow because that's nice and politically correct. There's my head crab right there. Now if you remember, the box of ammo and the point template are right here, and the new entity is right behind him. So this entity behind him is what's actually going to dictate where the his loot drop is going to happen. So when I shoot him, you can see that box of ammunition dropped right behind him. Now if we reload the game, and let me see if I can get him to move without killing me. There we go. Alright, now see, the box of ammunition dropped right there. So the box of ammunition will always drop right behind him, wherever he walks to. So he turned and there's the box right there. So it drops right behind wherever he initially dies at. Alright, so let's take a look at the entities. So it's not a horrible setup. It's actually pretty simple. It sort of uses stuff that we've already done, and we're just going to add one more piece to it. So let's start with this guy here, the head crab. So I want you to go to your entity tool, type in NPC underscore, and it's going to be the head crab. Okay, so if you look for him, this guy here, just a regular head crab. Let's open him up, and I want you to name him. All right, now this is important because this new entity has to follow this guy, so he needs a name. So I called him NPC underscore crab1. That's all you have to do to him. Okay, so NPC crab1, that's this guy. So let's go to our entity tool, and this entity is the point template. Okay, so go to your entity tool here, come over to this side right here, type in point template, and go ahead and just drop that in front of the head crab for now. We're going to name it. Okay, so I named it spawner head crab, and then let's close it up for now. We're going to go back to our entity tool. So now we're going to pick what drops when this creature dies. So we're going to click on our entity tool. I'm going to come over here, and if you type in the word item, these are all sort of the things that the player wants to collect: health kits and ammunition and stuff like that. So I went ahead and just did the item ammo 357, and I just placed it right here on the map. Okay, so let's open up the ammunition that we just dropped. We're going to name it. So I named it item 357, and then I put the word template after it because template stuff doesn't get spawned. So this lets me know when I'm looking at the map that this is a template item, and it's not actually going to spawn in the game. So the word template doesn't do anything as far as the game kicking it out or anything, but it lets me know that if I'm looking around the map and I see this, I put the word template here so I know that this is going to get removed when the game runs. Okay? Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my point template, and where it says template 1 right here, I'm going to put in the name of this ammunition. Now, an easy way to do that is to just click the dropper and select the ammunition, and it will automatically fill in the name right here. Or you can type it in, doesn't matter. Either way, it's your choice. Okay, so this is my point template. I named it spawner head crab. Under template 1 is the ammo. I'm going to close that up. All right, so we've got our head crab who's been named. I've got my point template, which has been named, and under template 1 it has an item. This is the item, which has also been named, and that's all I did to that. So the new entity we're working with today is this one. So we're going to go to our entity tool here. You're going to come over to this object box, and you're going to type in Env Entity Maker. Okay, so you're going to go to your entity tool. You're going to come over here to objects, and you're going to type in Env Entity Maker, and you're going to place this entity where you want the object to spawn in relation to the target. So I have the bullet spawning behind him. Like if I was doing an NPC like a combine soldier, I would probably put this a little bit like, you know, maybe to the front and slightly to the side so they don't fall on top of it when they die. You know, when you go to ragdoll, they tend to fall on top of, if you just spawn it right like chest, it'll just drop and then their corpse will fall on it. So this is where in the world this object is going to spawn when this guy dies. Now this box is always going to stay right behind him. So if he walks, this box will always be whatever this is, you know, 2 or 3 inches behind him. It will always be in this exact relative position to this head crab. So if he turns this way, the box will rotate with him. So these two guys are going to be attached once we're done here. All right. So Env Entity Maker. First thing I'm going to do is name it. So I named it Spawner Env Template. The parent. This is the head crab. Okay. The parent is the head crab. Now, if you remember from other things we've done, children follow their parents. So that means that wherever this parent goes, this child remains in the exact same relative position. So this will always be behind its parent at, you know, 3 inches or whatever. Now, the point template to spawn. So basically what's happening is this is going to spawn the object, but it's going to give it to this guy. So when we want this point template to spawn the ammunition, the point template is going to pass it to this, and then this will drop it. Okay, point templates can't move. Env Entity Makers can. So that's why we've attached this to the head crab. So when the head crab dies, this is going to tell this to spawn the ammo. It's going to spawn the ammo, and it's going to give it to this, and then this guy will drop it. Simple. All right. So my Env Entity Maker, I've named it. I gave it a parent, and then the point template to spawn is the name of this box right here. Whatever you named this box is what goes right here. All right. Click apply. Now let's go back to the head crab. So double click your head crab, go to his output tab. We're going to click add, and we're going to say on death, target entity named is this right here. So whatever you named this box, hopefully you named it the same as me. It makes it a lot easier for us to troubleshoot. Spawner Env template, that's this guy right here, via this input force spawn. So what's going to happen is when this guy dies, he's going to tell this to force a spawn. This guy is going to tell this guy to force a spawn. This is going to spawn the ammo. It's going to give it back to this guy, and then this guy will drop it on the ground. Okay? So that is the process for spawning an object when this guy dies. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And now that you've seen how it works, let's look at the game one more time. All right? So I'm going to back up a little bit. There's the head crab. So we know the point template's right here. We know the Env Entity Maker is right behind him. And we know the box of ammo, the template ammo, has removed itself from the game, just like it's supposed to. So I'm going to shoot him. And the box of ammo appeared right behind where he was at, exactly like it was supposed to. So now, if we had him running all over the map, wherever he dies, he's going to drop that ammo on the map. Okay, so it's not limited the way the template maker is, where it will only spawn in that one spot, and it will only, we can't move these sodas. If I move the soda machine, the point template doesn't move, so the sodas will still spawn in this same spot. By adding the Env Entity Maker, now I've given it the ability to move with the NPC. All right, Env Entity Maker.